Hello everyone, and welcome to Hyperanalyzing LCS, the series where I discuss the biggest macroplays and smallest microplays from the LCS and give attention to the tiniest details that can decide the outcome of the game. This week, we will look at some plays from Week 3 of the 2021 LCS Summer Split. CLG had a dominant upset victory over 100 Thieves, and they did it with this insane dive comp highlighted by this play.
They have the control ward that'll allow Smoothie to step forward. He fires off the Scryer's Bloom, so they'll see where 100 Thieves are.
And we're in again.
Coming in, but so is Broxa. He finds a little bit of damage with the follow-up showing up. FBI's your target yet again. Showstopper, health bar popper. Haymaker to get it done. Double kill over to Finn. Abadaga's got the three-man shockwave, but the only thing shocking here is just how badly CLG is slamming 100 Thieves in these first 18 minutes.
CLG's team comp is built for diving, led by the first Vi we've seen in the LCS in over 2 years. However, there's a concern about what Vi is going to be able to accomplish with Tahm Kench on the other side. In this play, Broxa goes in with his ult onto the enemy mid laner, but since Vi's ult is a single target, fairly slow moving point and click ability, this is looking like the easiest Tahm Kench play of all time. Devour completely shuts down Vi's engage, which normally would mean Broxa is in a 1v4 and used all of his abilities to do nothing but get himself killed. But CLG has the perfect answer to Tahm Kench, which is to just keep sending more people. Because CLG has so much dive, forcing Tahm Kench to use Devour with Vi's ult is actually a really beneficial trade for CLG. Broxa is not under a lot of threat because ProBuilder's Galio ult zones off the enemy team, and more importantly, the 100 Thieves backline has other problems. FBI is caught a little bit too far forward by Smoothie with Flash and Rakan's ult W combo. That keeps FBI in the front line for ProBuilder to channel his taunt, and while that taunt hits, it doesn't matter all that much as Finn flashes over the wall to ult FBI for the kill. Finn then pulls back 2 more, and his Haymaker kills Closure. Abadaga barely escapes, but the fight is lost for 100 Thieves. This is basically how the entire game went. Here he was piloting this Tahm Kench, who is notorious for shutting down engages by nullifying big crowd control abilities, but CLG drafted a comp that had too much for Tahm Kench to deal with. He has 1 Devourer, and CLG has 4 champs that want to dive, and 10 forms of hard crowd control, plus 100 Thieves carries have no mobility themselves. In a comp with less dive potential, this Devourer probably means 100 Thieves turn this fight around onto Broxa and the rest of CLG. But with Devourer on cooldown, he can no longer save his carries from Rakan's ult and knockup, or Galio's ult, or Galio's taunt, or Set's ult, or Set's Spacebreaker and Haymaker. It really was a brilliant answer to the Tahm Kench pick, and CLG played beautifully around the strength of their team comp and the weaknesses of the opponent's comp. After a 3-for-2 teamfight, Immortals try to take the Baron against Cloud9, and they eventually get it with this brilliant call.
Revenge can take this up. They're going to try to go over and poke them off, though. You hit a couple Qs here as King, and maybe you can get them off of this Baron. You got to focus Cersei.
How can you kill Ezreal here? There's no good engages. The Arcane Shift is on time. This is just not going to work for Immortals. This needs to be a reset. Well played by King and Vulcan.
Yeah, that's a good read there. If you know the flash is down, if you know the ulti is down for Gragas, they don't really have the ability to turn here. You can't just jump straight in, as the Tristana in this case, but now, back onto it. As the reset came through, Cloud9 doesn't have teleport except on Perks, and if he comes in here by himself, he's just going to be an int.
I love this play. They waited for recall to be done. There's no way Perks stops this. TP for good measure, bringing insanity. What an amazing play from Immortals. Absolutely love the decision-making here. How about the fight?
Even though Immortals won the teamfight 3-2, they cannot take the Baron if King and Vulcan want to contest. Ezreal and Karma will put out a lot of poke without being under much threat from INT. Realizing that they can't stay on the Baron or turn on the King and Vulcan, Immortals back off and it looks like both teams are going to reset. King is recalling on an IMT ward that he can see and probably should have cleared out before basing. Another ward spots Vulcan running out of the river and it's a pretty safe bet that he is recalling as well. Immortals cancel their recalls and as soon as they see King finish his, they start up on the Baron once again. With the 2 Cloud9 members having gone back and the other 3 just respawning, Immortals know all 5 members of Cloud9 are in their base, and there is no way they can get back to Baron before IMT kills it. This brilliant shot call earns IMT the Baron, and they eventually convert that into victory against Cloud9. The turning point of the Dignitas vs Golden Guardians game was a mid lane teamfight featuring some big plays from Ablaze Olive on Viego, or rather on the champions he was turning into as Viego.
Diana likes attack speed.
Not true.
Everybody likes attack speed. And Frozen Heart says, no, we do not like attack speed. Over the wall goes Chime. Afromoo could be caught out here, but remember that Neo is close enough to pull him to safety. He will do just that, and he throws him right back in. We're going bowling, baby. Here comes the equalizer. There goes Chime. But now you got Iconic looking for the fight. It's Stasis v Stasis, and Dardoch is right back out onto the map looking for the damage onto Stixay, but he's going to be taken down before he's able to find it. Iconic now buying time here against the other four, but Neo's able to rend him to pieces. A Blaze Olive going to reset City. Population Dignitas. Stixay grabs the kill into Neo. A Blaze Olive keeps on going in, and Fake God goes on the run.
Chime starts off the fight onto Afromoo, but the Callisto ult turns the engage around, and Chime is the first to fall. But this fight is all about the Blaze Olive. Dardoch flashes in but isn't able to kill Stixay, and this gives GG their first kill of the fight. A Blaze Olive turns into Rumble and lands a Harpoon into the Viego ult to kill Afromoo. He then becomes the Thresh, plays away Fake God, and lands a near max range hook onto the hopping Callista, turns back into Viego, and finishes the kill on Neo. Through all this transforming from one champ to another, a Blaze Olive never actually uses his ult as Viego. He only ulted when he was transformed into other people. That means his ult is still up for the ensuing play where he flashes over the back of Dragon Pit and is able to assassinate Yusui, turning into Ezreal and blinking back over the wall to take Dragon. These plays from a Blaze Olive led to Golden Guardians getting Mountain Soul and Baron buff, which turned the game in their favor, and they were able to take the win against Dignitas. Evil Geniuses won an action-packed game against Cloud9 that started with this huge fight just 5 minutes into the game.
Back and forth, already used his mid, as we saw in the last exchange. There's a lot of action around this bottom side Scottercribe here. Blabber at it again with Vulcan.
This is going to be a big one.
Svenskeren going in, Perks here as well, 3v3 right now, but there is actually the Devour onto Blabber to keep him safe. The taunt is good though, out of Ignar. But here comes Varus, finds the Q Svenskeren, the target Perks forced to flash away, and Svenskeren rides back in, gets an easy second kill there for the Galio, and now it's going to be Vulcan for the third as Danny claims it. Now Ignar finds the flash, Justice Punch, and King, there's just nowhere to go, no summoners, no Tahm Kench. Fudge somehow solo killed, Impact on the other side, but King's going to die here as Danny's going to claim it, and now the teleports roll in.
This fight is won off of Ignar's place on Galio, aided by a few C9 misplays. For example, you probably don't want to get spit out of Tahm Kench's belly into Galio's fist. Perks also walks into this taunt that he definitely should have avoided. Regardless, it's huge for Ignar to come in and hit that Justice Punch into a 3-man taunt which does so much work this early in the game. Ignar gets a double kill, then chases down King with a flash and a second Justice Punch nicely angled so that he goes around the wall and lands the punch onto King. The second taunt secures the second kill for Danny and the fourth kill for EG in this fight. EG takes this large early lead and is able to snowball it into a win. Closer had a huge game on Diana against Team Liquid, ending 11-2-9. He had multiple great ultimates this game, but this one was probably his biggest.
Outer tower, and Closer's on the wraparound here. He wants Tactical.
Tactical and Core are going to be easy targets. The double stun comes in. They've certainly found Braum. Tactical flashes, and it's going to be Core whatever they have to as well. FBI getting a bit low, has to flash away. Core so low though, and it's Diana getting the setup. Why even walk back in? It's going to be 2 already. Azonia is going to keep Closer alive for now, but could easily be re-attacked. But no, it's going to be Rumble dying even before that point. It's a beautiful fight. 100 Thieves engage it. They get a 4 for nothing as Abadaga knocks.
At the beginning of this fight, Closer and Sunday had gotten behind Tactical and Core JJ, which looks like 2 easy picks for 100 Thieves. But the TL bot lane duo do a really good job getting out of this situation and regrouping with the rest of their team. They walk back towards mid lane with Santorin and Jenkins, but they are all grouped together, setting Closer up for a huge play. Closer knows that he can engage from very far away very quickly with his flash and E, and with 4 members of TL on top of each other, Closer knows that now is his time. He easily hits all 4 with his ult, and while the exhaust is good from Core JJ to prevent a lot of damage, it does not do nearly enough. With Core and Tactical already low, they die quickly to Closer, Santorin immediately goes into stasis, and although Jenkins avoids most of the damage and returns a ton onto Closer, Closer is able to use his own Zanya's Hourglass to stay alive. The rest of 100 Thieves are there to clean up the fight, and Closer is able to get a 3rd kill with an attack on Santorin as the Rumble is getting kicked over the wall. This play was just one of many multi-man engages Closer found this game. It wasn't even his only triple kill. Closer dominated this game as he carried 100 Thieves to victory. The Immortals vs TSM game was largely dominated by TSM split push, and it would end from TSM split pushing in a super close base race.
combo it with stuff, but it is difficult, you know, when solo laners start to be able to deal capable damage like that. Just amazing ultimate, though. You rarely get to see timing like that. Insanity making true here, full build Ziggs, and guess what? With the Baron, they're not done.
Our first Ziggs in the LCS this summer. Insanity is set to carry the late game here. You know, Gwen Yumi's nice and all, but the amount of damage Insanity does, the amount how quickly he melts towers, as we can see on your screen. IMT's still 40 seconds almost on the Red Bull Baron buff here. Oh goodness, here we go. The race has begun. Who's gonna win? One Lee Sin and one Jace versus a Baroned up Ziggs team. TSM maybe getting a little too hasty to try and end this game, because IMT are trying to go for it, but TSM, they're trying to grab those kills. The damage on the next is there. IMT trying to make it happen, but it's TSM that wins the race.
TSM commit to the bot lane push super early, as we see on the minimap. Huni and Spica rush towards the bot inhib. The Power of Evil makes a very intelligent decision to clear the bot lane wave and then recall. Spica also recalls after the inhib goes down, leaving just Huni to take the Nexus. Huni does this about as fast as he can. The Nexus turrets were already low, and while they do regen, a base turret that goes below 1/3 health does not regenerate up past 1/3 health again, so they're both still a couple hits from death. Additionally, the minion wave Power of Evil pushed up has caught up to Huni, which takes off the backdoor bonus that would have made it much harder for Huni to kill these turrets. Huni resists the temptation to immediately switch to Hammer form, which would give him bonus damage on one auto attack. Instead, this lets him get a second use of his Cannon Form W Hypercharge, allowing him to get a couple extra auto attacks in a little bit less time, and he switches to Hammer form immediately after the second cast of W to get that single auto attack bonus damage. This is about as fast as Jace is able to take down the Nexus. On the other side of the map, Insanity isn't wasting any time either, as he spams out all of his abilities to get 2 consecutive attacks buffed by Ziggs' passive, each of which does half of this turret's HP. Immortals is initially splitting forces between top and mid lane, but both teams rotate everyone to the top lane once they realize this game will end in a base race. Power of Evil recognizes Ziggs as the target and uses Flash and Distortion to get onto him and nearly kill him right there. This forces Insanity to go into stasis, which is a lose-lose situation for him, because he is either not hitting the Nexus for 2.5 seconds because of stasis, or he is not hitting it because he's dead. Revenge also goes into stasis, although he is still at half health, with only Lost Senna hitting him. Maybe he's scared of Spica, but Spica has had his eyes set on Raze as soon as he finished his recall, so Revenge really wasn't under that much threat. Let's watch Spica now as he gets back to base. He starts running towards Raze, who is pretty far forward to avoid Power of Evil and Sword Art. Raze uses Arcane Shift to move downward, and this is where we see that Spica is clearly laser focused onto Raze, as he pivots from going around the top of the Nexus to instead going around the bottom of the Nexus, dashing to Lost in the process. This move really jukes out Destiny, who starts firing Yuumi ult at where Spica used to be, and therefore the Yuumi ult was not able to stop Spica's advances. Speaking of Destiny, he really should be doing anything else here. Yuumi has auto attacks too, which could be going into the Nexus, or he could be attached to Ezreal, giving him bonus attack damage thanks to Yuumi's W. Yuumi's E also grants bonus attack speed, so that could be donated to someone like Raze as well. Instead, Destiny is attached to Insanity for the entire duration of his stasis, and Yuumi's attachment actually has no cooldown at this point in the game, so he can get off whenever he wants. Destiny also uses Yuumi's E on Insanity to heal him while he's in stasis, so Yuumi is actually getting no autos on the Nexus, is not buffing anybody else's autos, and has not given anybody else bonus attack speed. Spica makes it to Raze and kicks him out of attack range of the Nexus. Insanity is busy evading all of TSM, and Huni finishes off the game with about half health on the Nexus to spare. There were so many ways that this game could have gone to IMT, but there were a bunch of game-deciding microplays against them. Power of Evil clearing the bot lane minion wave, Huni's quick take of the Nexus, Power of Evil forcing Insanity to go into stasis, Revenge's premature stasis, and Destiny missing Yuumi ult and contributing nothing else to the Nexus take. All of these things add up to give TSM the win in this intense game.
Almost on the Red Bull Baron buff here. Oh goodness, here we go. The race has begun. Who's gonna win? One Lee Sin and one Jace versus a Baroned up Ziggs team. TSM maybe getting a little too hasty to try and end this game, because IMT are trying to go for it, but TSM, they're trying to grab those kills. The damage on the next is there. IMT trying to make it happen, but it's TSM that wins the race. Base race, baby, and PoE.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Hyperanalyzing LCS. Hit subscribe and come back next week to see my analysis of Week 4.